Namaskar. A warm welcome to all the respectable teachers. Nice to connect with you online for
Wow.
this NEP orientation and sensitization program organized by UGC-MMTTC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Thanks, organizers, for offering me the chance to relook at NEP 2020, review the highlights of NEP, major features, rethink about it, and share the reflections with you in the light of academic leadership, governance, and management. Nice to have a connect with the teaching fraternity for the sake of sharing the observations and reflections regarding NEP 2020 with reference to academic leadership, governance, and management. Feeling delightful to do that because a long cherished dream come true in the form of NEP 2020. Education, it leads to economic and social progress. Well-defined and futuristic education policy is essential at school as well as college level. The National Education Policy, that is NEP 2020, which was approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29th of July 2020, outlines the vision of India's education system. This new policy replaces the previous National Policy on Education NPE 1986. NEP 2020, it is a comprehensive framework for elementary education to higher education, as well as vocational training in both rural and urban India. First time in human history, education policy is framed based on more than 33 crore inputs received from people from all walks of life: students, teachers, parents, professionals, consultants, academicians, educators, various experts. They contributed their might for the sake of making this education policy very, very effective and successful. This is the first Swadeshi policy of independent Bharat almost after 185 years. Remember those glorious old days before the enactment of Indian Education Act 1835 by British. Ancient Bharatiya education system. Lakhs of gurukuls, they were working at their best. Name any discipline, name any area of human endeavor, maybe astronomy, maybe medicine, maybe yoga, maybe economics, maybe political science, and you'll find that India shining with a galaxy of pioneers, scholars, various stalwarts like Aryabhat, Gargi, Maitreyi, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Sharak, Chakrapani, Sushrut, Madhav, Nagarjuna, Panini, number of scholars, they contributed a lot to the world with different innovations, different inventions for the sake of betterment of the life. Scholars from all over the world, they used to visit our country to seek education. If they could not seek admission in the world-known Takshila, Nalanda, then there were several other gurukuls in the vicinity, might not be so popular like Nalanda and Takshila, but anyhow, they were resourceful enough so as to accommodate all the learners so that no aspirant would remain disappointed And no one would be going back without seeking education from our country. After enactment of Indian Education Act 1835, deterioration started. And there was end of Gurukul system in due course of time. Not end actually. At present also, thousands of Gurukuls, they are functioning at their best. Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal has been doing research. It has taken a research project. And with that, they are studying Gurukul system of ancient Bharat. And with that, they are striving hard for the sake of revival of the same, so as to make our country a superpower, so as to again bring back the initial glory. The literacy percentage, which was almost 100% in those good old days, fell back miserably at the time of independence. Let us bring back that glory. Let us be committed for a proper execution of NEP 2020. Dear friends, this is a good initiative, a UGC MMTC, for the sake of having some kind of deliberation and relook at various essentials of NEP 2020. I remember after launch of NEP 2020, Niti Aayog, in association with several NGOs like Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal, they organize a series of webinars for pointing out, for having a dialogue with the teachers, for having an interaction with the teachers, and knowing from them what might be the difficulties in proper execution of NEP 2020. Vigorous sessions they were organized for the sake of pointing out some kind of hurdles that might come in the way of proper implementation of NEP 2020. After each webinar, every participant was required to give the feedback, to give the opinion regarding implementation of NEP 2020, the difficulties, the various effective features, and of course, the solutions for making this policy a grand success, for imbibing it in the light of whatever objectives were set, whatever aims they were designed. Now, once again, we observe at successive levels, we are trying our best. Just now, School Connect initiative was also undertaken by our government for the sake of having a talk with the students who are studying in the 12th standard and who were studying in the final year of their graduation, for making them aware regarding what are the major highlights of this NEP 2020, what kind of options they are available for them. And accordingly, efforts were made so that everyone would be familiar with the main highlights of the policy, whatever options they are available, whatever facilities they are available, and what one can achieve with reference to education goals. NEP 2020, as we observe, can you see this slide properly? Okay. Now, basically, today we'll be dealing with this topic academic leadership, governance, and management in 2 sessions. Each session would be of 90 minutes. And as per the plan, each session of 90 minutes, first 60 minutes, they are kept for the sake of just some interaction dealing with the ideas with reference to the topic. And then 30 minutes, they are kept reserved for the sake of discussion. But of course, it's not needed that discussion has to take place only at the end of the session, only after 60 minutes are over. Nothing like that. In case in between, you want to say something, in case you want to contribute something, in case you are agreeing or maybe disagreeing with me, feel free to talk with reference to your chat box. I'll be observing the chat box from time to time, or you may raise your hand in case you want to say something. Well, as we have seen, NEP 2020, it is the first education policy of 21st century, and it has replaced the 34-year-old National Policy on Education, NPE 1986. This NEP 2020, it is built on the fundamental pillars of access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. This policy, it is aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And this NEP 2020 aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, and suited to the 21st century needs. The basic aim is bring out the unique capabilities of each student. As per NEP 2020, holistic and multidisciplinary education, it would aim to develop all capacities of human being: intellectual, aesthetics, social, physical, emotional, and moral in an integrated kind of manner. Justice is required to be given for all facets of the personality of the students. All aspects of the personality, they are required to be sharpened, they are required to be shaped through these various highlights of this NEP 2020. Such an education, it would develop before looking further with reference to the basic essentials of governance, management, leadership. Before that, again, let me share with you the objectives of NEP 2020. What exactly we wish to achieve out of this National Education Policy 2020. And you will find that this education, it has to develop well-rounded individuals which would possess 21st century capacities in fields across arts, languages, humanities, sciences, social sciences, professional, technical, as well as vocational disciplines. Now again, try to recall what our ancient Bharatiya education system, how they look at education, what kind of philosophy they had for the sake of development of the students, personality of the students, and what kind of just aims and output they were expecting out of education. In ancient Bharat, gurus or acharyas, they believed in developing individuals' body, mind, intellect, and the soul. India set the tradition of holistic education through great institutions such as Takshila, Nalanda, Kalabhi, Vikramshila, and the like. Now, again, I remember a few references. Typically, they would talk about Swadeshi kind of education system. Like Banabhatta's Kadambari describe good education as the knowledge of 64 kalas, 64 arts, which included arts, science, vocational, professional, as well as soft skills. Now, in the light of whatever we have been doing, in the light of that, we are required to appreciate various features. Honorable Kasturi Ranganji, along with the team of learned scholars, they tried their best. They explored the world-known best practices, and out of that, they conveyed to us very effective kind of draft of this NEP 2020. Number of guidelines, number of meaningful and very effective guidelines they have given us. Now it is now it is only in our hands, as I made a mention of efforts of government from time to time to deliberate, to engage in deliberations, discussions, debate with reference to the main features of NEP 2020, because a drastic transformation is there, a drastic change is there. Whatever we did in previous education policy, whatever we did with reference to action orientation, action program, which was followed thereafter, dramatic kind of developments they are observed in this NEP 2020. So it's only we teachers, we can contribute for the sake of implementation of NEP 2020 with its true spirit as well as the right essence. Now, the job of the government is over. Job of the administration is over. Job of bureaucracy is over. Now it is completely within our hands, we teachers, to give entire justice for this first Swadeshi policy of independent India. Swatantra Bharat, Swatantra, Swatacha Tantra, with our own essence, with the spice and with the flavor of our own soil. So Banabhatta's Kadambari, when it talked about knowledge as consisting of 64 kalas, it indicated not only science, not only arts, it included vocational skills, professional skills, as well as soft skills also. So dear teacher friends, definitely, whenever we are going through all the essentials, all the features, we can never be able to forget whatever had been done in the past, whatever we just we had seen, whatever when we refer the pages of the history, whatever best practices we observe, whatever philosophies we observe. So definitely we can never be able to forget that. In the context of today, whatever is relevant, whatever is contemporary, whatever is required, definitely we are required to experiment at our own level. And let us empower ourselves with the help of all the such kinds of traditional practices, and with the help of that, let us try to give full justice for this NEP 2020 implementation. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is the world as a global village. This is not a new concept. It has been imbibed in our education philosophy. Creation of Vishwamanav, global citizen, but rooted in Indian culture, having the capacity of rational thought, compassion, empathy, courage, resilience, tolerance, creative imagination with reference to sound ethical moorings and character. That was the idea. And with whatever structure at this moment we are following, whatever situation we are facing within that, we are required to give justice for this concept of Vishwamanav, global citizen. And we have to see to it that being global and acting local, the spirit of just preparing the student for the sake of facing the challenges out of globalization and not just losing the focus of being the local, needs of the local. So that is the real challenge. Students, they are required to acquire the skills necessary for lifelong development. Development of capacities that promote student wellness, such as fitness, good health, psychosocial well-being, sound ethical groundings, are all the aspects of holistic education. So once we understand different dimensions of holistic and multidisciplinary education, definitely with that, we'll be trying our best so as to be an academic leader and develop the ambience which is required for the sake of giving full justice for this NEP 2020. Now, formally we have adopted holistic education, and NEP 2020, NEP 20 looks after both livelihood as well as life. Livelihood is only part of life. It is not whole of it. The purpose of holistic education, it is to develop a highly capable, socially acceptable, skilled, enterprising youth who would assume leadership in various spheres to face national as well as global challenges, and proper dedication is required with reference to human values which are rooted in glorious Indian culture as well as tradition. That means a balance has to be struck. At one level, we are required to give justice for our culture, for our tradition, for our values. And at the other side, we are required to be techno-savvy. We are required to embrace technology, technological development. We have to learn whatever has been introduced in the society, whatever has been introduced in the economy recently. So making a balance of these varied objectives that is reflected under the vision of this NEP 2020. We are required to prepare our student to face local, national, as well as global challenges. But at the same time, we should not lose our focus from our tradition, culture, from our ethical kind of grounding. Value education, definitely, it has to permeate through all levels of this, different dimensions of this education. Now, what are the major features of this NEP 2020? As we understand, multidisciplinary education, that is again very, very important kind of feature of NEP 2020. Empowerment of faculty. As I said, whatever has been done by the decision makers, by the policy makers, by the administrators, now it's over. Now only with empowerment of the faculty members, definitely a full justice can be given for proper execution of NEP 2020. And our today's focus is regarding this empowerment of faculty. Will be focusing with reference to leadership management as well as governance. But anyhow, In the light of the other features, we have to appreciate the role of a teacher in the development of an institute. At some point in time, role of a teacher was restricted only being a tutor. But now, role of a teacher, it has been expanded to that of being an operations manager, like developing all the steps of this value chain right from the beginning until we are able to appreciate our ultimate goal. Excuse me. Hello. सेशन चालू आहे माझं. हो, 4 वाजता ब्रेक आहे तेव्हा बोले. So what a teacher is required to do? Development of curriculum, decision about the appropriate teaching learning pedagogy, developing academic ambience, seeing to it that infrastructural facilities, proper and relevant, appropriate infrastructural facilities, they are available, needed resources, they are available at the time at which they are needed. So from that sense, I told that from being a tutor, a teacher has to perform the role of an operations manager. There is a value chain in which students, they enter the system with some expectations, with some objectives, and whatever outcome we have decided, on the basis of that outcome, we see to it that the end of the value chain, it is having the right product as we planned and as we expected. And with reference to that, we have to understand the other features of NEP 2020, like multiple entry and exit system, lifelong learning, that kind of initiative, that is again a welcome feature of this new national education policy. Flexibility is there. Sometimes some family need, they are to be given justice. Sometimes maybe some health issues, they are emerging. Some domestic responsibilities, they are to be attended. Whatever is there. So flexibility with reference to entry and exit in the education system, that is again a very good feature. Integration with vocational education. So definitely that was the need of the hour. It was very miserably, it was missing in our existing education system. Again, another flexibility feature of NEP 2020 talks about ensuring mobility between streams and institutions. We are trying to understand ABC, Academic Bank of Credits. So flexibility issue, very skillfully and very beautifully, it has been handled out of this Academic Bank of Credits. Some credit they are to be earned at a particular academic year. As per your interest, as per your convenience, as per your need, you can make a choice of your own institute or maybe any other premier institute which has been accredited, which has been approved by the decision makers, by the education authorities. So that is again a very effective kind of feature. Whenever you are free, you can earn more credits and you can keep it reserved in the digital repository. And accordingly, as and when there is a need, you can avail that kind of benefit of academic credits, and definitely you can give a proper shape for planning your academic career. Academic leadership. Very, very important kind of issue which we are required to pay attention to. Number of good features, they have been associated with this leadership. As I said, at some point in time, the role of a teacher, it was only being present in the classroom as per the timetable. Be prepared to deliver whatever syllabus has been given by the Board of Studies and give justice for proper delivery of the knowledge, proper delivery of the knowledge. Knowledge sharing, it was one of the aspects of education. But as we have understood now, whenever we talk about education, it is about K, S, and A. Knowledge, skills, and attitude. It's not only sharing of knowledge, it's not only passing on information from one source or the other. It's not only about making them aware regarding what are the contents of various topics together. Whenever you are doing that, you must ensure that probable application of that knowledge, students, they are contemplating. They are realizing that this knowledge I have to apply in my actual day-to-day life. Whatever problem I may face in my day-to-day life, maybe at my home level, maybe at my office, maybe a community problem I wish to solve, maybe a societal problem I wish to solve. At that moment in time, my education has to help me. I have to understand how I should apply knowledge so that necessary skills I would be able to imbibe. And definitely with reference to that, whenever we are sharing a designated kind of course to the students, we have to see to it that along with development of skills, attitudinal changes also they are taking place in the mindset of the student, a mindset training. Again, it has to take place whenever we are interacting with the students. Teachers, they play a vital role in building future of any country. Basically, NEP 2020, it focuses on empowerment of teacher as critical to future of our country. Teachers, they must be grounded in Indian values, languages, knowledge, ethos, traditions. But as I said just now, at the same time, teacher, they must also be well versed with advancements in education and pedagogy. Technological aspects, they must be very well familiar with. It matters a lot. Trained teachers, they develop greater ranges of practical aspects, concepts, skills, and strategies for teaching, learning, as well as assessment objectives. We, in our day-to-day life also, we experience that presence of outstanding and enthusiastic teachers cultivates excellence, innovation, and basically that is the core determinant of quality. Everyone teaches, everyone enters the class, everyone finishes the syllabus, everyone gives justice for the examination needs of the students. But anyhow, to what extent we are able to interact with the students, to what extent we are required to give one-to-one kind of feel, one-to-one interaction with the student, to what extent we understand their unique needs, their special requirements. So we have to appreciate on our own as a teacher. I understand that as per our examination, as per our system at this moment, intake of 20, 40, or 60 that is allotted to each teacher, and accordingly, on a common standard platform, we are required to interact with our students. There are some average students, there are some above average students, there are some below average students. How is it that on the common platform, we are addressing the needs of each and every category of the students? So with that, a teacher has to honor the role of a counselor as well as a mentor. We should allot some time. So technically, NAC says, as well as several different NBA. NBA also is there. Along with that, some accreditation kind of agencies are there. Specifically, they talked about the efforts of mentoring. They talk about counseling session. They talk about slow learners, how you cater to the requirement of fast learners. I mean, systematically, they are trying to imbibe that in the system. But a sincere question we should ask to ourselves, to what extent we are doing it really from the bottom of our heart? Are we doing it only for the sake of documentation? Are we really doing that only for the sake of mere namesake? Or really we are giving justice to that? So basically, from that angle, whenever we talk about academic leadership, what is expected is outstanding and innovative and entrepreneurial teachers who would be cultivating excellence, who would be developing a spirit of perfection among the students. And they sense whenever there is a need of one-to-one interaction, accordingly, they are able to take out time out of their hectic schedule and meet the requirement of the students. So our aim is to achieve the best energized, motivated, and capable faculty in higher education institutions so as to advance students, not only advance the students, so as to advance the institutions and so as to give some justice for the profession, advancement of the profession also. So what is important is provide an enabling environment for the appointments, for professional development initiatives, for career progression, for retention, for autonomy, for inculcating a culture of excellence, appropriate incentivizing for outstanding and innovative kind of teaching learning efforts and initiatives, teaching, research, institutional service, community outreach. So on all such kinds of dimensions, we are required to understand the meaning of academic leadership and how I can be an academic leader, a proficient and entrepreneurial academic leader. Everyone has to assess and appraise that. Once again, I repeat what I said. Because from the view of academic leadership, all these dimensions and all these features, they are very, very crucial to imply and apply. Providing an enabling environment for the appointments, for professional development, career progression, retention, autonomy, provision of appropriate kind of needed autonomy, developing a culture of innovation and excellence, and rewarding good efforts of the teachers, providing them some kinds of financial as well as non-financial incentives. In case they are excelling in research, so again, that is again has to be rewarded. Institutional service also, it has to be focused. And out of that, community outreach programs also, they should be a constant and consistent kind of feature throughout the academic year. Teachers in this 21st century, they must embody various roles such as educational leaders, which would adopt to changing educational systems. Now, some syllabus that is given to us, some exam format that is given to us, but anyhow, practically implementing that in the true, with the true essence and the spirit, that is completely at the disposal of the teachers. So from that angle, Syllabus may not be revised every year. It is not feasible. Maybe after 3 years or 5 years, revision and modification of the curriculum, it takes place. But as we understand that some kind of modifications, they are required at my own level. Every teacher has to understand and appreciate that, and accordingly, that kind of provision has to be made in the day-to-day teaching learning kind of process. Societies, again, they are undergoing a vast change. Continuously, professional development initiatives, they are required to be updated, and it is required to create effective classrooms. It is required to develop a vibrant kind of campus. Role of a teacher is not only confined within the four walls of a classroom. Beyond that, in the institution, in the campus, in the corridors, outside the classrooms, definitely all such kinds of issues, they must be addressed. A teacher must be aware of the responsibilities toward the students and toward the institution also. They should go for their own development. At the same time, they should try to learn and teach at the same time about various systematic kind of developments that can be done so as to raise standard of the institute. Constructive suggestions at the peer level, definitely they can be given. What is important is dedication, commitment, and motivation of the teachers. What is important is, in absence of dedication and commitment, definitely quality of education would not be improved. A teacher has to act as a motivational force. A teacher should be able to create a learning environment in which students, they are encouraged to think carefully, rationally, and express their thoughts in a very effective kind of manner, and on their own decide on various situations, various difficulties, as well as various challenges. Many times I see that teaching can be considered synonymous or parallel with selling. You want to sell, but unless someone is ready to buy, you cannot sell. You are resourceful. You are very much enthusiastic. You are very much innovative. But anyhow, in absence of students' learnability, in absence of their desire to learn, you may not be effective. You may not be successful. So from that angle, encouraging the learning desire among the students, keeping them engaged, that is the need of the hour. It is the responsibility of the teacher to create a context in which students' desire and ability to learn, it can work effectively. A teacher has to act as role model for the students. Now, number of research studies, in case you observe, you'll find that caliber of the teachers, definitely it reflects upon the caliber of the students. So definitely with that, a teacher has to update continuously on the subject knowledge, whatever are the recent developments, whatever are the latest trends in that area, definitely they are required to be appreciated. They are required to be learned and updated. Students, they are required to be prepared so as to achieve the core competencies, so as to face global requirements successfully. So teachers, they are required to be creative, they are required to be innovative, they are required to be entrepreneurial, and then only students, they would understand the importance of skill development. Students, they wish to acquire the skills, reskilling, unskilling, upskilling, various dimensions are there. So it is only the skillful teachers who are able to make correct realization among the students about acquisition of skills, about enhancement of skills, and then only the real purpose of education, it would be achieved. Imparting value-based education. That is again one more important feature of this academic leadership. Now, every now and then I meet with students, or anyhow I get an opportunity to interact with the teachers. I ask a question like, literacy percentage continuously it is increasing. But with increased literacy, wrong practices, sex abuse, violence, crime, is it decreasing? Some decrease, some reduction, is it observed? Then what is the use of education in case you are not able to develop good human beings? You are not able to obstruct wrong practices of the society. What is the use of education? To develop a good human being, to impart value education, that is one of the essential aims of education. In case it is not get reflected in the statistics, are we miserably failing in fulfilling our objectives of education? Definitely something is missing very miserably. So we have to think on that, and at our own level, we have to find out our own strategies so as to overcome such kind of challenges and such kind of wrongdoings. In absence of appropriate value system, skills, they are less important. Teacher, they should shoulder the responsibility of inculcating desirable value system among the students. Whatever are the pluralities, whatever are the diversities among the students, always there is ample scope for inculcating some core universal values like truth, like righteousness. If you observe the seeds of values sown in the early stages of education, like aimed at cooperation, mutual understanding, respecting the opposite gender, they need to be reiterated and re-emphasized at the higher education institute with the help of appropriate learning experiences as well as learning opportunities. And then only we can say that we teachers, we are giving complete justice for our task. As I said, in absence of appropriate value system, skills, they are less important. They are not useful at all in many cases, as we experience. So value education, definitely that is a dimension being attached to all aspects of education. Then maintaining discipline, maintaining decorum in the campus, not only in the classroom, but in campus also. So that is again a part of the healthy environment at the institutions. It is the whole and sole duty of the teacher to tackle and resolve all the problems, all the hurdles which came at an institute, which come up at such an institute in creating a healthy environment. Every student, every learner should feel that this is a safe and secure place for me. So that kind of creating such kind of discipline and decorum, that is again the need of the hour. Resources, efficient use of resources and continuous updating of methods, use of ICT, innovative teaching learning methods. So definitely these are the requirements, but along with that, making students solve problems through indirect and creative approach, imbibing some kind of lateral thinking, out-of-box thinking, using reasoning that is not obvious, that is involving some ideas that may not be obtainable by using stereotype and customized traditional logic. This is again one more important feature which every teacher has to pay attention to. Teachers, they need continuous self-development so as to generate knowledge that goes beyond contributing towards inculcating high professional competency among the students. Development of the teachers is directly associated with quality of research. So, faculty exchange program, exposure to recent developments, book writing, collaboration with the fellow teachers, other higher education institutions. So definitely, all these aspects, we should understand for the sake of understanding role of a teacher in the development of an institute. What is meant by effective leadership? How is it that whether we are effective leaders or not, how it can be appraised? Again, some guidelines they are given on the slide, such as self-appraisal and awareness. Who am I? What I am doing? Whether I'm in the right direction? Number of such kind of questions at an appropriate interval of time, they should be asked. Answers, they should be analyzed, and then only we can ensure that we are in the right direction as far as academic leadership is concerned. Then observing others, benchmarking practices, that is again another feature with reference to effective leadership. Find out what are the world best practices. Which of these world best practices they are fit and fine for me? How many of them they require some modification so as to suit my situation, so as to suit needs of my students? So this is again one more important kind of issue. Choosing the right leadership style. That is again a very good decision to be made. As far as leadership styles are concerned, typically, three leadership styles commonly they are observed: democratic leadership, autocratic leadership, and laissez-faire leadership. Name themselves, they explain what is indicated out of this leadership style. Democratic leadership style indicate that everyone is having a say in the decision. Autocratic style, no one has any say in the decision. Laissez-faire, complete delegation of the decision-making powers that is observed. No, it is not that only one, maybe as per your personality, one leadership style, it suits you. It is your natural liking. It is your natural choice. But as and when situation demand, as and when there is a need of the students, as and when the situational problem demands that, they should explore the other styles of leadership also. In addition to these three common leadership style, some other leadership styles like strategic leadership, transformational leadership, transactional leadership, coaching leadership, bureaucratic leadership, visionary leadership, pace setting leadership, situational leadership, they are again being available. Names, they are self-explanatory. They indicate what kind of just philosophy this leadership talks about. So every teacher has to make this analysis regarding what is the need of the hour wherever I am. Which leadership style it would be appropriate for me? What kind of combination of different styles I should adopt as and when there is a need? So choosing a right leadership style, that is again one major crucial aspects of successful kind of leadership. Then crystallizing the values as well as challenges. That is again a part of self-appraisal and analysis. Who am I? As I said, Koham, that kind of exercise. How good I am as a teacher. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Which of my weaknesses they can be improved? By which strategies? to whom I should contact for getting a support. And for that reason, you must be having some coach, some mentor available with you. Talk to the stalwarts, talk to the experts, and accordingly see to it that you are moving in the right direction. There is a role of frequent development, frequent feedback also in effective leadership. At a frequent interval of time, find out whatever you did and try to check whatever you did, whether it was in conformity with the set standards. Some gap, was it there? In case some gap was there, how to bridge the gap, what kind of corrective action is to be taken in this manner, so as to ensure that you are doing your best. What is important is getting a frequent feedback consistently. Then again, there are some guidelines for effective leadership. Establish clear communication. Let it be formal, informal, let it be written, let it be oral, let it be horizontal, vertical, structured, unstructured, whatever it is, see to it that clear communication lines they are established and all the communication barriers they are anticipated, and accordingly a proper care is to taken so as to overcome all such kinds of communication barriers. Be a role model, definitely. That is there in each and every kind of leadership style. You are required to be the best. No choice for that. No compromise with that. Set smart goals. Smart in the sense specific, measurable, achievable, actionable, relevant, as well as time-bound. Your own journey, whether it is appropriate or not, whether it is in the right direction or not, with the help of smart goals, very well you can be able to monitor. And you can ensure that you are reaching to the top echelons of your career. Lifelong learning. Definitely, that goes unsaid. A teacher is a student forever. So from that angle, whatever is expected, whatever is just is to be done, see to it that every moment your learnability is on. You will not be leaving any stone unturned every moment for getting new insights, for getting new approaches imbibed in your philosophy. So commitment to lifelong learning, definitely that is the requirement. Then leadership style already I told about. Now, along with this leadership, one more major feature it has to be attended to, that is leading digitally. As I have been telling you, age-old world-class best practices with reference to ancient Bharat, definitely you can never be able to forget. Try to remember those and try to apply those as and when there is a need. Along with that, whatever is latest, whatever is introduced in the society, in the economy, in any corner of the world, definitely you are required to learn that, you are required to update yourself with that. And from that angle, this digital leadership, getting the help of digital platform, that has to be appreciated by the academic leaders also. The first requirement is, what are the digital capabilities? You have to appreciate that. And then whatever you have been doing from years together, now you are required to transform that. You are required to move to a different point in time. How to lead the transformation, you have to learn that. Overnight changes, definitely, they are never advisable. Through in small steps, maybe in large leaps, you are required to make this transformation. But that is your choice as a leader. That is your choice on the basis of analysis of your situation and analysis of your environment. So digital leadership indicates, again, you are required to develop a digital vision. In all, for your academic leadership, you are required to develop a vision. In addition to that, you are required to appreciate digitally what additionally you can contribute with reference to digital competencies, computational technologies, what they can confer you in a very, very unique and different kind of way. Now, by means of online platforms, it is possible for the leaders to engage in a better manner with their team members. 24/7, they can develop a connect, a smart connect with the team members for giving them instructions, for issuing them orders, at the same time for getting their feedback. Now, this is not only about the students, it is about the peers also. It is about the colleagues from the other institutes also. It is about the seniors, getting the help from the seniors, getting the help from the mentors. So this is how governing digital activities, a clear plan, it has required to be chalked out. And in the light of that kind of plan, you are required to appreciate in what manner these digital activities, they are required to take place to digitally enhance operations. Your reach. Now, again, an example of this NEP orientation and sensitization program, again, it comes under this enhancing the operations. At some point in time, we were required to be in face-to-face communication with each other for the sake of learning something, for the sake of communicating with reference to a common purpose, with a common objective. But at this moment, by means of this Zoom platform, by means of this Google Meet and several other such kinds of facilities being available, very well, we can be in touch 24/7 in any corner of the world, wherever you are, whenever you feel like communicating, it has become possible. So a systematic plan has to be made in the light of your objectives, your target audience, the kind of task you are required to achieve, in the light of whatever hurdles they might come, in the light of whatever strategies you are required to apply so as to overcome those kinds of limitations. In the light of that, definitely your leadership operations, definitely they would be enhanced. They would be appreciated by the enhanced kind of mob. This is how academic leadership indicates that teachers, they have a tremendous role to perform with reference to institutional development. I made a reference regarding dedication, commitment, as well as motivation. In absence of that, nothing can be achieved. Self-motivation is the best form of motivation. Definitely, all the stakeholders, they are giving justice for the sake of providing more and more motivation with reference to that so as to get a special status. Now, what kind of status our gurus or acharyas, they used to enjoy in ancient Bharat, now that is very miserable, that is missing nowadays. But specifically, NET examination, it was introduced so that quality of teachers, it would be assessed, it would be appraised. And just like IAS, IPS, that kind of cadre, teachers also, they would be having some kind of distinguished position. They would be standing out in the crowd with that kind of qualifications. With reference to that, government is making a number of efforts. And decision makers, again, they are just exploring with various kinds of alternatives so that teachers, they would be getting an honored position in the society in comparison with our previous ancient kind of situation. So with reference to that, again, number of pay commissions they have been making, number of additions, a lucrative kind of modifications they are observed with reference to pay packages, with reference to number of different facilities. So what is expected is other stakeholder, they are trying to motivate the teachers. Simultaneously, in case self-motivation, dedication, commitment, it is coming from the bottom of the heart of a teacher. So definitely that is the win-win situation which is required for the sake of institutional development. Skill development. Just now, we had a reference regarding this skill development. Teacher, they are required to improve on their skills. They are required to update and modify their own skills. And while communicating with the students, while interacting with the students, they every moment they should keep their focus that while getting this knowledge, while sharing this knowledge, students, they are being trained for the sake of getting skills, for the sake of learning. Now, as we important, learning is important. Similarly, unlearning and relearning, these are the different aspects which are equally being important. On similar lines, with reference to skilling, upskilling, cross skilling, reskilling, unskilling, all such kinds of dimensions, again, uh, teacher, they should pay attention, and as per the need of the situation, as per the requirement of the situation, in case they are adopting that, definitely it would be in the light of true spirit of NEP 2020. Professional competency. Different dimensions are there for academic leaders in which they should give their attention for the development of the students, at the same time for being their role model. Professional competency also, it has to be enhanced and enriched from time to time as and when there is a need. So as and when we get an opportunity to have an interaction with the other universities, as and when we get an opportunity so as to just shoulder the responsibility of any uh, specific designation in our institute or in other institute. So definitely all such kinds of opportunities we must grab for the sake of this improving on professional competency. So at one point in time, I was very much happy as a teacher. I was trying to give full justice for my task. I was giving my 100% to my role as a teacher. And at that moment in time, there was a just offer for me to get the additional charge of finance and accounts officer. I never had that kind of intention. I never imagined that. I never expected that. I never dreamt of that. But the moment at which that offer came to me, I started thinking. And I thought that I'm a teacher of commerce, I'm a teacher of management. Whatever experience, whatever corporate experience I had, it was long back. Before joining, I had that kind of exposure as a management consultant, as an industrial consultant. But later on, I lost that kind of touch with the corporate because now I'm focusing only on academic kind of activity within the campus of my university. I was trying my best, but there were limitations in approaching the outside campus. At that point in time, I thought that when I'm a teacher of management, I have to show I have to learn the practice of management, and I have to indicate the reflections to my students. And with that orientation, I accepted this additional charge of finance and accounts officer. And I'm very happy to say that after that kind of short stint with that experience, definitely I experienced that a teacher in me really was enriched. Really, I learned a lot. I enjoyed a lot. And thereafter, I'm sure that my students also definitely, they got a lot from me as a teacher. So this is how professional competency from time to time, every opportunity should be tapped. It should be explored so that the competency would be enriched, enhanced. Innovative, creative, entrepreneurial approach. So that is again one more requirement. One more very significant kind of requirement. Everyone is a teacher, maybe dealing with the same syllabus, maybe dealing with the same course contents, but anyhow, the bond between the student and the teacher, that is very unique, that is very special. All the teachers, they don't get equal respect, equal attention, equal affection from the students. Some are more affectionate, some are more respectable, some are more popular. Why is it that? The reason is maybe they are able to show a genuine concern of the students as and when required. The situation is they may be more innovative, they may be more creative in imparting the knowledge, in imparting the skills to the students. The classroom, maybe they are making a happening kind of place. Because continuously when you are talking, only one-way communication, maybe there is no fun, there is no enjoyment. But the moment at which you understand that I am a part of this process, teaching, learning process, the moment at which you understand that I have a say in this process, I can contribute at any moment. I'm having a chance to contribute that. I'm having a chance to challenge that. Definitely, more belongingness is there, more commitment is there, more involvement is there, more engagement is there. And such kinds of entrepreneurial approach, such kinds of edupreneurship, academic entrepreneurship, it has to be exercised. And then only you'll find that you are being more popular, you are being more acceptable, you are being more respectable to the students. So teachers, they are required to be innovative, creative, unique in their approach. They are required to be entrepreneurial in sharing knowledge, skills, as well as attitudinal changes, making attitudinal changes in their students. Lateral thinking. So lateral thinking, out of box thinking, it has to be experimented by the teachers. And at the same time, students, they should be convinced that they should be trained so as to apply out of box thinking with reference to their day-to-day life, with reference to their day-to-day decision making. Then value-based. So this is how lateral thinking, it has to be a part of the process from the sake of the teachers also and students also. Effort should be made so that they should experiment with such kinds of innovative approaches. They should go beyond the obvious. They should go beyond the traditional stereotype kind of approach and thinking. So that kind of demo teacher has to give, that kind of opportunity a teacher has to give to the students. And then only the real academic leadership, we can say that it would be working. Value-based education. So definitely, in case we understand that let it be technology, let it be education, number of dimensions they are being attached with that. When you have the knowledge, whether to use it for the service of the society or whether to use it for destroying some aspects of the society. So that kind of dilemma, many times it is being observed, that kind of issue, number of times it is being raised. And from that angle, whatever you are sharing with them, whatever training you are providing to them, definitely it has to be value-based. It has to be in the light of the tradition, culture of the society, of the community. So it has to be ensured. So ultimately, as we understand, one of the chief aims of the education is to widen the window through which we glance at the world. We are giving a vision to the students so that they are able to appreciate a different dimension, number of different dimensions, number of different perspectives of looking at the things. So whenever you are imparting them Value-based education, definitely they will become responsible citizens from their early childhood. As and when at every opportunity you are making them aware about the values, about the ethics, about the moral, uh, then definitely with that, more and more chances are there that a good human being would be developed. It has to, from KG to PG, it has a common thread, it has to be followed. Whatever lessons you are giving them in the early stages of their life, definitely through each successive step, you should make efforts so that the students, they would be getting more and more understanding, in-depth kind of insight regarding those values, regarding the implications of exercising these values in the society. So this is how definitely teachers, they influence the lives of not only the students but lives of the families and overall societal development. They influence at a far better level. Resource management, as I said, teacher has to be in the role of an operations manager. Depending upon the nature of the course, depending upon the nature of the program, depending upon the caliber of the student, what resources they are required so as to make them to another level, so as to make them at a higher level of proficiency, competency. Every teacher has to think about that. And accordingly, so as to do that, for moving a student from a lower level to a higher level of competency, development, proficiency. So accordingly, where the resources are present, how to acquire the resources, how to manage the combination of the resources, a strategic orientation, it is required for that. A leader knows how to influence the team members so that they would do whatever is in the interest of the organization being done, whatever is in the interest of the institution being done. So definitely every teacher, if at all, is working on such kinds of thinking, definitely with that, a win-win situation it would be also. So this is how I shared few of my observations and reflections regarding academic leadership as well as role of teachers and institutional development. Basically, as I said, 60 minutes session it was expected and 30 minutes they were required for the sake of deliberation. So whatever time, because I took this much time. So uh, let us let us open the topic for discussion. And uh, I'm very much eager to know your reflections regarding this academic leadership. So as per the system, maybe raise your hand, unmute yourself and talk about that. Or maybe through your chat box, you can maintain the communication, whatever is convenient for you. I'm waiting for your response. Put that message in the chat box. Okay. Okay, I'm reading the messages in the chat box. Some direct messages are there. There is a question from Leena Parvekar, madam. For various IQ students, how use academic leadership? Various IQ, you mean IQ is different of the students, and for that, how to do that? Am I right, Leena madam? So already I made a mention of slow learners and fast learners. Then again, I made a mention of some, as and when there is a need, you have to go for one-to-one interaction. Then there is a role of tremendous effective role of counseling as well as mentoring also. Okay, understood. So shall we take a break in case you have nothing to discuss and nothing to contribute? And then we'll go for second part of the discussion. Shall we continue with the second session? All of you are gathered together?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Well, in the first session, we talked about academic leadership, various leadership styles. What are the just guidelines for effective leadership? Different styles of academic leadership. I mean, in general, styles of leadership. And then role of teachers in institutional development. Now, let us deal with governance and management part with reference to higher education. Now, ours is one of the largest higher education system in the world. We are having a good network of higher education. Just a moment. Hello. Good evening. Usually 20 minutes gap is the break is given every session. The recording is live streamed. It is shown. YouTube, it is being relayed. Okay. That message was there. Okay. So higher education, normally we mean the tertiary level education. It is being imparted after 12 years of schooling. In our university, there are more than 10,000 universities and 42,000 colleges. We are having affiliating system with reference to higher education. As per NEP 2020, now this affiliating system, it will not exist. In due course of time, some changes you will be observing. Some universities, they may opt only for teaching universities. Some universities might be only research universities. And at the same time, there would be some teaching as well as research universities. At this right now, our higher education system deals with universities, colleges, and colleges, they are affiliated to the various universities. There are various types of universities, like central universities are there, which have been established and operated by the union government, and curriculum is generally common across in all such kinds of institutions. Then there are state universities, which have been set up through the act in the state legislature. The state universities, they are primarily funded and operated by the state governments. Curriculum and examination patterns, they vary with each state. They are different. But NEP 2020, by 2035, it is expected that everywhere the syllabus would be common, the pattern would be uniform and standard. So we are moving through different steps, and with that, we are trying to assure that definitely a number of conveniences and they would be observed with reference to education. Then along with central universities and state universities, at this moment, we are having private universities also established and managed by private entities. There are deemed universities also. The universities which are good performing institutes, they are declared to be of equal standing as the universities by the central government on the recommendation of UGC. And because of this deemed to be university status, it grants full autonomy with reference to both setting of curriculum as well as admission requirements. Then again, we are having this open universities also. They focus mainly on distance education, which provide flexible learning opportunities through various kinds of online platforms, study materials, as well as some weekend offline sessions also they are conducted for remote learners, offline as well as online. If required, there is a provision of some kind of face-to-face interaction and some sessions also between the learners and the teachers. And in addition to that, we are having a good network of various higher education institutes in our country. And many of these institutes, they are having some interconnected kind of procedures with reference to sharing of resources, with reference to many aspects dealing with curriculum development, admission. Now, as in the morning session we have seen, now NEP 2020, thereafter, there would be on affiliating system. It will not exist after few hours. In due course of time, it would be eliminated in steps. Then there would be only universities, maybe teaching universities, maybe research universities, maybe teaching and research universities, or maybe autonomous institutes. Then some integrated multidisciplinary kind of campus that is expected with reference to this university as well as autonomous institutes. At this moment, some colleges, they belong only to arts, some colleges, they be arts and commerce, and some colleges, they are only science colleges. So that will not exist after a few years. So this is how number of changes they are taking place. Now, with reference to academic bank of credits also, as I mentioned in the morning, in the previous session, this academic bank of credit, students, they are free to uh, just secure a few credits as per the stipulated kind of norms from the premier institutions which have been duly authorized and accredited by the uh, academic institutions. So that would be a very good benefit for the students. Then there is a provision of some kind of online courses also, online credits also, they can be sought from number of other premier institutes. So this is how, with reference to our nature of higher education institutions, their interconnected kind of relationships. Again, let us be familiar with some aspects. Like there are some apex level bodies like AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education. This council, it was set up near about in 1945 as a national level apex advisory body for the sake of conducting survey on facilities available for technical education. The main objective of AICT was to promote development in the country in a coordinated and interconnected kind of integrated kind of manner with reference to technical education. Promotion of quality in technical education, planning and coordinated development of technical education system, then regulation, maintenance of norms, standards. So with these objectives, AICT was established. Now again, a drastic change that is expected. Now at this moment, whatever setup we are having, so we'll be having some sharing regarding such kind of setup and such kind of system. And thereafter, whatever is planned in future, so we'll be getting a review regarding that kind of setup also. Then there is Council of Architecture, COA. This Council of Architecture, it has been constituted by our government. And near about from 1972, this institute was came into existence. Ministry of Education, it deals with different kinds of provisions and features with reference to registration of architects, their standards of education, their qualifications, then again standards of practice to be complied by the practicing architects. Some norms they are established, and basically this Council of Architecture, it is shouldering the responsibility of regulating education and practice of professionals throughout our country. They maintain a register of architects, and for that purpose, some rules they are formulated, and accordingly, in the light of framed regulations, with the approval of Government of India, this institution is working and establishing its presence. Then again, we are having University Grants Commission. This came into existence near about 1956. And basically, this UGC is to coordinate. It deals with maintaining standards of teaching, examination, research in the university education. UGC is having an important part to play with reference to higher education in our country. Then again, there are some other institutes like ICHR, the Indian Council of Historical Research. This is again an autonomous organization under the Ministry of Education. Again, this institution supports historical research and scholarships in India. It offers various fellowships, grants. In addition to that, publication part, again, this institution takes care about various digital resources. They are being made available for the scholars, for the researchers, and number of events, education events, they are organized by this ICHR. Basically promoting and giving directions to historical research, and so as to encourage the scientific writing of history. These are the basic purpose, these are the basic objectives of this ICHR, the Indian Council of Historical Research. Then there is ICPR, Indian Council for Philosophical Research. This is a society and it promotes philosophical research and education. Like ICHR, it promotes, offers fellowships, different workshops, they are organized, publications also, they are credited with this ICHR. And again, a number of different programs also they are organized for the philosophers and for the social scientists. Then there is ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Sciences Research. This is a government agency. ICSSR, that is a Indian Council for Social Science Research. It promotes research in social sciences in our country. Now again, like ICHR and like ICPR, ICSSR also, it provide grants, research grants. Along with that, fellowships also they are accorded. Then ICSSR is credited with number of good publications also. Along with that, international collaborations also, they take place under the aegis of this ICSSR for social sciences, social science researchers. Data services, again, they are provided for the researchers and for the scholars. ICSSR, all these apex level bodies, they are having their eminent presence in our society with reference to spread of education, with reference to promotion of research and like that. Then when we are just considering about the different kinds of premier institutes, higher level, higher education institutes in our country, then we find that there are more than 23 Indian institutes of technology. Then NITs also, more than 32 NITs. They are present in our country. Along with that, their Institute of Science. Then 7 ISRs are there, as well as their IIMs also. They are just providing best possible education and are contributing for the best possible research as well as publication in our country. In addition to that, there is again number of premier and significant kind of institutes we find in our country. They are doing very much commendable work for the sake of spread of research, spirit of education, and they are motivating number of scholars and researchers with reference to research, publication, teaching, learning, international collaborations, fellowships, scholarships, and all that. 4 institutes, they are related to Hindi and other Indian languages. Then there are National Institutes of Technical Teachers Training. Then NEPA is there. 4 Sanskrit and Vedic institutions, again, they are doing a remarkable kind of task And along with that, in general, more than 165 institutes of national importance, they are again contributing their best for the growth and for the development of our country, as far as development of the uh, students and the development of the research culture is concerned. As per NEP 2020, there is Higher Education Commission of India. It is required to be, it is supposed to be established. It's in the process. As we have seen, different guidelines they are given, different features they are provided, and over a period of near about 10 to 15 years, complete implementation of NEP 2020, it would be taking place. And like that, there is National Higher Education Regulatory Council, NHERC. This National Higher Education Regulatory Council, it is, as the name indicates, it is supposed to give justice for the sake of developing some kind of regulations, some kind of coordination for the sake of different universities and autonomous institutions as far as higher education is concerned. Then there is National Accreditation Council. At present, we are having National Assessment and Accreditation Council, which is uh, which is working under UGC, which is an independent body working under UGC, and it is again contributing its best for the sake of spread of quality culture in our country. Now, a good number of universities as well as colleges, they have been accredited as per the requirements of the NAC. Along with NAC, there is NBA also, National Board of Accreditation, which has been given the task of giving some kind of quality norms and quality standardization as far as educational process is concerned, as well as educational standards are concerned. Now, later on, after getting this set up, we'll try to know more and more about this NBA as well as NAC. At this moment, let me share with you that these four institutes, they are supposed to work under the apex level body known as Higher Education Commission of India. Along with National Higher Education Regulatory Council and National Accreditation Council, there is Higher Education Grants Council. And again, self-explanatory kind of title, it indicates provision of grants for different requirements of students, teachers, researchers. They would be fulfilled by this Higher Education Grants Council. Now, at this moment, we understand, especially for commerce and management, at this moment, UGC used to perform the major role of providing financial assistance for the researchers with reference to major research projects as well as minor research projects. And a quality culture, a good quality culture, it was just being established out of this initiative of UGC. From last few years, that work, it has been stopped. And now this Higher Education Grants Council, it would be entrusted with that kind of task, in which, if you remember, under UGC, no, different categories were there under which grants they were given. As I said, research grant, they were established for the sake of major research projects as well as minor research project. Then publication grant also it was given. Foreign travel grant again it was being given. And now different 5-year plans, they are having different provisions as per the budget availability accordingly. Number of such schemes, they are being launched from time to time, and accordingly, the beneficiaries, they become aware about such kinds of schemes and they get the benefit of that. In the last 5-year plan, there was a provision of getting an assistance of foreign travel grant in which 100% reimbursement was there regarding the travel expenses. Along with that, registration charges also, they were just being reimbursed. Then accommodation also to some extent it was given. But anyhow, uh, such kind of scheme they change from time to time. Let us hope that this Higher Education Grants Council, it will be having some specific kind of schemes in which there would be a complete clarity. Now, number of times what happens, schemes are there, but awareness is very poor. Are you with me? Okay, some connection problem was there, so I thought got disconnected. Then there is General Education Council. This General Education Council, it is the one of the major aspects of this National Higher Education Qualifications Framework. It is associated with this General Education Council. Now, let me again tell you the background for this National Higher Education Qualification Framework. NEP 2020. Now, it is moving towards student-centric approaches. Some of the reforms which we saw in NEP 2020, they relate with multidisciplinary education, multiple entry and exit system, then again integration with the vocational education, then ensuring mobility between streams and institutions. Now, some of the features, which again in the first session, we had a reference regarding that. And classification of qualifications according to the learning outcomes. It is supposed to be the major feature of many of these reforms. Qualifications framework, which provides for arranging the qualifications based on learning outcomes. It is a method practiced worldwide so as to facilitate transparency as well as comparability. So in case that framework is there, it's possible to measure, to compare, and there would be a clarity regarding what exactly is intended out of this qualification. So formulation of this National Higher Education Qualification Framework, that is a key recommendation of NEP 2020. And this move, it would be having some kind of developing some kind of qualification framework which would be having acceptance at the national level and internationally also some kind of comparison as would be possible, and acceptability also it would be high in case clear communication regarding that qualification framework it is provided. UGC, University Grants Commission, it has constituted an expert committee so as to formulate this National Higher Education Qualifications Framework for the sake of students, for the sake of their parents, various service providers working in the area of higher education, and number of other stakeholders also. They are required, the need is to understand the nature and the level of expected learning outcome. And naturally, competencies associated with higher education institutes, the stakeholder, they are interested in knowing about those competencies also. And in the light of that, this qualifications framework, it has been established. This previously there used to be a National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, which was established by this Ministry of Labor and Employment. Then now we have National Skills Qualification Framework also. Near about in the last decade, it was formulated. And on the basis of these two frameworks, this National Higher Education Qualification Framework that is being established, and this deals with various kinds of specific norms as such. So at this moment, we'll not go into details of that. At the end, in case you are interested, we'll see that. Otherwise, in general setup, I will make you aware about. Then we'll talk about this accreditation kind of thing, in which there is NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Basically, it is an autonomous institution of University Grants Commission. Its headquarters is in Bengaluru. All of us, in one way or the other, may be associated with this NAC as a peer team member, maybe as a just dealing with some kind of assessment for our own institute. We have been associated with that. So quality assurance, making of quality assurance, that is the major mandate of this NAC, and which is very, very essential. And naturally, we understand that really a quality culture, it has started to be established with the initiative of NAC. Initially, people, they used to get some kind of irritation regarding what kind of documentation is it, and what kind of just senseless kind of activities. I mean, that was the apprehension initially regarding the procedures. But nowadays, widespread acceptance is there for this initiative, and people, they have understood the relevance and the utility of that. And accordingly, they are trying their best so as to apply for this accreditation, follow whatever criteria it has been given there. And accordingly, nowadays, more and more initiatives, more and more efforts, they are being seen with reference to development of quality culture in the institutes. For the sake of getting good grade, for the sake of just getting good marks in different criteria, various institutes, they have started entering into a number of good practices, and now they have imbibed those good practices in their working routine as such. So definitely with that, NAC as well as NBA, they are having some authenticity, and they are having a good reputation as far as spread of quality culture and quality promotion that is being concerned in our country. This National Board of Accreditation, it was initially established by All India Council of Technical Education for the sake of assessing the qualitative competency of the program offered by educational institutes with reference to engineering as well as technology. And along with that, within its scope, management programs, pharmacy program, architecture, and related disciplines, which basically AICT approves. All those courses as well as programs, they come under the purview of this NBA. Now, from last few years, NBA, it has started working as an independent autonomous body. Basically, the objective, as I said, is assurance of quality and relevance to technical education with reference to professional as well as technical discipline kind of programs. Accordingly, some guidelines they are given, some state norms they are given, and accordingly, institution, they recognize what they are expected to do. Whenever they go through the norms, They fill up the information which is given in the formats. They understand how far they have moved towards quality initiative with reference to the institutional mission, institutional objectives, organization, governance. Now, basically, uh, we have seen in the morning session academic leadership. So, at some point in time, there was a belief that teachers they are required to teach to the students. The only task is concerned with teaching and assessment. Later on, some kind of curriculum development activities as per the seniority and as per the University Act, these activities again being made a part of the task of a teacher. And along with that, now we observe that teaching, research, extension, and interaction with the industry, these are the basic dimensions of the higher education institutes. And in the light of that, uh, slowly the task to be performed by a teacher, we are observing some kind of changes and modifications with reference to tasks being performed by a teacher. As I said initially, previously teacher, they used to be tutors only. Get the syllabus, learn it, understand it, and deliver it. And as and when required, assess it as per the examination kind of pattern. But nowadays, for every teacher, in the light of learning outcome being specified, program outcome, learning outcome, when COs, POs, and PSOs, we are just making it ensured. So definitely it is the responsibility of every teacher to see to it that whatever learning objectives I gave for my course, for my program, for my course, are they in line with the program objectives? If at all, yes, then what kind of learning outcomes they are expected? Then checking whether the learning outcomes really they are received or not. So that kind of task also, it has been added to the previous kind of responsibilities of the teachers. And slowly with that, teachers' purview of operations, it is being enhanced. And now a more proactive, a dynamic, very, very innovative and creative role, it has been attached with teachership. So with that, academic leadership, basically, everyone has to think about that. Everyone has to experiment with that. And everyone definitely has to contribute for development of the learning ambience. A favorable kind of learning environment, it has to be created. So everyone has to do a lot. Nowadays, whenever internships, they are made a compulsory part of the curriculum, everyone, uh, the in between the course, in between the program, every student has to undergo some kind of internship training with, as per the course structure, as per the program structure. So definitely, now every teacher has to work on his or her own for pointing out which are the institutes and which are the agencies which would be imparting internship training which is relevant to my course. Because when I'm teaching entrepreneurship, the internship requirements, they are different. Whenever I deal with accounting, whenever I deal with law, whenever I deal with auditing, in each case, different individuals, they are required to be contacted, different institutions, they are required to be visited, and different approvals and sanctions, they are required to be sought. Now again, this is where academic leadership come into play. Previously, only institution head, they used to have an interaction with the outside world. And at the lower level of the organizational hierarchy teacher, they were only being restricted within the boundaries of the campus. But now gone are the days. Nowadays, for each course, for each teacher, it is responsibility to look outside the boundaries of the campus and find out what is good for my students, what kind of practical exposure I can give for my students for my course. then developing meaningful relationships, entering into collaborations of various kinds, and above all, updating myself with the latest trends and latest developments with reference to my course, with reference to my specialization, with reference to my subject. It is requirement of everyone. So with reference to that now, this accreditation again, it has added to that kind of spirit. Number of PhDs, number of research paper, then again amount of research grant, the kind of consultancy you are just going for. So whenever such kinds of norms they are established, so consequently with that, it becomes a duty of everyone to contribute something towards each of the aspects, not only with teaching, but with research also, everyone has to contribute. Publications, they are a must. What kind of impact factor is there? What kind of peer-reviewed journals they are required to be established in? Now, not only the teacher, but along with that, being an editor, being a reviewer, being a publisher. So all such kinds of roles, they have become attached to the role of a teacher. And as and when you interact at different levels with different stakeholders, with different individuals, different agencies, then only you can set yourself as a role model in front of your students. In absence of connections, in absence of networking, in absence of collaborations, in absence of meaningful kind of linkages, definitely your teacher role as a teacher, it would not be recognized. It would be incomplete. It would be inadequate. So accordingly, the realization, it has been started by NAC as well as NBA. Now, everyone is having that kind of qualitative metrics also are there, as well as quantitative metrics are there. Then relative weightage also that is being established in the procedure. So accordingly, there is a perfect clarity regarding everyone, regarding what exactly I am required to do. Whenever we go for any higher education institute, as a peer team member for the assessment, then we see to it that everyone knows about all the aspects. It's not only that the IQAC coordinator knows a lot and only makes a presentation. How far the spirit has been flown to the all the levels in the organizational hierarchy, that is being checked, that is being appraised. That is what is important. Everyone has to feel that this is my institute. Everyone has to feel that I belong to my institute. Students, they belong to me. I belong to the students. And accordingly, all round efforts, giving 100% of my efforts, my energy, my attention, my knowledge to my institute, that is the need of the hour. That kind of realization, it was born out of this accreditation kind of initiatives. Previously also it was there, but there was some kind of vague idea. Now complete clarity is there. When you go for first time accreditation, maybe you are learning. But whenever you go for second cycle, third cycle, fourth cycle, definitely with each experience, whenever all 5 years you are working on putting the procedures, documenting the various practices, giving the data, analyzing the data, compiling it in some capacity, you work at some level, and accordingly, you get an information that this is what is expected from me. This is what I should do. So this is how the credit goes to these accreditation agencies for creating that kind of quality culture, that kind of quality assurance awareness, and accordingly understanding that I have to perform my own role in giving some specific kind of weightage for my institute. Some parameters are different. Teaching is there, research is there, quality of teaching learning, curriculum design is there, curriculum review is there. Then again, support systems like library, laboratory, instrumentation, computer facilities, several different aspects. Again, they are a part of that. And over a period of time, some kind of changes, they are taking place in the parameters, new processes, they are being evolved, new criteria, it has been established. And it is being seen that whatever criteria and parameters we are following, they are in line with the best international practices, and they are having an orientation to assess the outcome of the programs. So this is how accreditation, then ranking framework. Next issue is dealing with ranking framework. National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF. It was launched on 29th of September 2015. Different parameters, they are being covered under it, like teaching, learning and resources, research professional practice and collaborative performance. Along with that, graduation outcome, outreach and inclusivity, as well as peer perception. Various disciplines like engineering, management, pharmacy, medical, dental, architecture, planning, law, agriculture, many such disciplines, they have been covered under this NIRF. And again, it is again creating more and more for the sake of understanding the institutions standing in comparison with national as well as international role models. Then next is the point dealing with the Times Higher Education World University Ranking. This Times Higher Education, it is providing trusted performance data on universities for different stakeholders, maybe students, maybe their parents, maybe government, industry, academicians. It creates university rankings to assess university performance on the global stage and to provide a resource for the readers to understand different missions and successes of the higher education institutions. Mainly, the ranking cover three main areas of the university activity, like research, impact, and the teachings. Then some global rankings, they are being provided, under which it provides definitive list of the world's best universities with an emphasis on the research mission. In addition to that, there is impact ranking also. Then again, technical ranking also that is being observed. And with this, we are coming to the next point of e-governance. As we understand, governance indicates utilization of the resources for development. And through legitimized power, exercise of legitimate power, we undergo the process of this governance. Whenever we are using ICT for governance, we call it as electronic governance. As indicated, this e-governance, it is a new paradigm shift in the field of governance, and it has added to the transparency, accountability, efficiency, as well as effectiveness. And along with that, inclusiveness also that is seen in the governing process. A reliable access to the information within government, between government, national, state level, municipal, local level governments, as well as citizens, as well as businesses, that is being observed through access and use of information. Main focus is to provide, main focus of this e-governance, main emphasis of this e-governance is providing transparent as well as equitable service delivery to the citizens. Quality of governance that is improved, as well as people's participation in the governing process that is ensured. It may be through email, it may be through websites, it may be through different forms like SMS and like that. Number of online platforms and devices, they are available so as to contribute for such kinds of e-governance kind of initiatives. Now, again, at this moment, we are having an interaction with each other. That is again a part of this e-governance. Electronically, we are just trying to have a connect with each other. We are trying to contribute for the higher education development, quality assurance we are trying to contribute. So this is how there are different levels and different types of e-governance. As we understand, it is how citizens, they relate to the government, what kind of relationship they are establishing as far as utilization of IT is concerned. Election also, now at this moment we are just having election procedure again being in progress. So that is again a part of the e-governance. Now, we have seen the objectives of the e-governance: provide transparent, equitable, and accounting services delivery to the citizens. The basic aim is facilitate and improve quality of governance and ensure people's participation in governing process through electronic means. Now, let us see some features of e-governance. Bureaucratization, that is again one of the major features of this e-governance. Dependence of the bureaucracy, that is being minimized. Gap between the people and the government, it is getting less and lesser with this e-governance. Directly you can be in touch with the ultimate decision maker, and accordingly you can get the needful being done. E-services, they are being provided through the internet. Number of services are there. Government to citizens, government to government, government to business, government to employees. So all such levels, availability of services that is ensured through internet. Then along with citizens, along with the domestic citizens, those who are outside the country, those who are living outside the country for one or the other reason, so they can also be in touch with reference to this international services and e-governance. Then right to express, this kind of right to express, it gets enhanced. Anyone can express one's view through this e-governance, maybe with reference to any act, maybe with reference to any decision by the government or on any bill. Very easily, right to express to the citizens, it has been observed under this e-governance. Then economic development, like number of initiatives with reference to economic development, such as import-export, registration of the companies, investment situations, such kind of activities we observe, such kind of information, it becomes available through the internet. And because of that, time-saving feature, it is great. At the time at which decision is to be taken, definitely it gets done. And that economic development and growth also, it is facilitated. Now, with reference to maybe sometimes on the basis of some inequalities, they are being observed as far as gathering the information is being concerned. So relevant information, in case you are getting at minimum cost, at minimum time, at minimum effort, sometimes real-time information also gets available. So definitely with that, inequalities, they are being reduced out of such kinds of initiatives. Then along with that, let us see, there are various types of this e-governance, like as I said, government to citizen. Government, now there is a clarity regarding such kind of activities like transportation. Let it the example of transportation, maybe education, maybe various customer services, online job portals. You will observe that government to citizen kind of initiatives, they are exercised, and accordingly certificates are issued, job cards are issued, passports, ration cards, bill payments, filing of returns. So e-commerce, e-governance platforms, they are available, and citizens, they are facilitated out of that. So this is how government to citizens initiatives, they are facilitated with this e-governance. Along with that, government to government, that kind of effective and efficient kind of activities, again, they are taking place through IT tools, maybe with reference to uh, e-secretariat, e-police, e-court, uh, such as creating a database of the previous cases. Then again, police records, criminal records, developing information regarding the various departments and various functions of the government. So this is how interlinking between different departments it is taking place. Electronic entry of reports, electronic entry of different documents, it is again taking place. And this is how government to government transaction, they have become more efficient as well as more effective. And there is a strategic kind of motive also with reference to such kinds of initiatives. Then government to business, no doubt, saying about getting a license, approvals, permissions from the government, e-taxation, securing electronic transactions, all such kinds of initiatives, they come under this government to business kind of thing. Then government to employees. Government to employees model, they refer to providing information and services from government to the employees and employees to the government. E-learning methods, then sharing of knowledge among the employees, pay benefits, then service benefits, managing the profits, managing the profiles through online platform. All such kinds of initiatives, they take place under this G2E, government to employee kind of network. So we have become very much familiar with all such kinds of e-governance initiatives at our own level. Even a common citizen is just coming across various benefits of this e-governance kind of initiatives. At some point in time, government used to declare some kinds of benefits, some kind of subsidies, some kind of grants, like that. But anyhow, uh, in between, someone used to grab and snatch away that kind of benefit, and real beneficiaries, they were deprived of that kind of benefit with just directly transferring the amount in the bank account of the beneficiaries. Now it is helping a lot. So this is how a number of effective as well as efficient e-governance initiatives we have come across, and accordingly we are just trying to give justice for all such kinds of initiatives with reference to e-governance. So with this, I would like to conclude the session with reference to academic leadership, governance, as well as management. Now, your reflections I'm expecting now. PPT is not visible. Okay, okay. Once again, I will run the PPT. It's visible now. Sunita Bedkar ma'am has said दुसऱ्या सत्रात PPT दिसली नाही. So you should have told me earlier, so I would have checked. But anyhow, I showed you the entire PPT. Anything to be said? Any question, any addition? Shivani ma'am, just now I showed you the entire, all the PPTs. Thank you. Thanks for your compliment. Shall I take your leave now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.